Yo, what's up, y'all? It's Treasur Necole, your favorite Scorpio, and you are tuned into another episode of Inside the Chess Podcast. Now, I would say this episode is going to be just a little bit different because, as you can see, it's just me tonight. But I really want to say that it's more of the same because in season 1, that's how we came in. It was just me and you, the chessmates, the listeners, the watchers, everybody who's tuned into our energy, right? And then we're just going back to what we know, right? It's like listening to your favorite throwback song, which of course you guys know the title of this episode is going to be called Me, Myself, and I. R&B lovers, what you know about that? That's Queen B, Beyonce's song, Me, Myself, and I. But before we get into all of that, the theme song that you just heard, of course, is streaming on all platforms. The music video is on all platforms. You have to see it. You have to listen to it, stream it, and watch it, guys. I'm thinking about doing like remixes, right? Like where my artists at? We want our artists to tap in. But we can do like a theme song remix. Like when we think about classic like remix records, we think about, I know for me, and this will show my age, guys. So I think about the Moesha theme song. You know, I even think about a different world theme song. You know what I mean? So we want to make that, we want to give it that same feel. We want to bring different versions of it and just elevate as a show, elevate as a community. And as I go back into the title of the episode, Me, Myself, and I, y'all know the song, Beyonce classic off her first solo album. Man, y'all know, my cousin used to joke and say I'm part of the Hive and I'm part of the Navy because I grew up in a time where it was B and Re, and now, I'm just feeling like God bless, God gave that confidence where it's me. And not only is it me, it's everybody in the community that take the time to watch, take the time to listen. We gonna have a good time tonight, y'all, guaranteed. And just because it's just me and you doesn't mean that we're not gonna play our favorite game, Trash or Treasure. Y'all already know this game has expanded into what I believe is just gonna be just a full-out game show. In our seasons coming up, guys, we are going to have spotlight on our guests. We are going to have the sounds and everything that you need for that energy when it comes to just collaborating in more ways than just music and just speaking to each other, but at the same time creatively with the games and adding joy to knowledge. So that's the way that we go about it at Inside the Chess. And going into that, we want to talk about the title, right? Me, myself, and I. Now, when we talk about us being independent in that way, we talk about it as like artists and as human beings, right? Because I don't know about you guys, but I've seen both sides of the fence, whereas you choose not to be as independent and you go into a machine or you go into a team and certain things happen in there, good and bad, just like everything, right? And then you start to do it by yourself and you see some of the same things and you realize it's just based on how we experience the process, right? So when we talk about me, myself, and I don't mean it in a negative way like, oh, fuck everybody, or I don't need anybody, because we all need somebody. We all know when we get inside the chest, what we find is there is, when it comes to love and success, those are two things that, as human beings, it's like, I know it's a must. It's a must for me. And speaking of success, I know everybody out there has been so patient for season 3 to come out. And in between season 3, I want y'all to know that we have been working on new things coming up in these shows, our shows, right? And going back into Me, Myself, and I as a human being too, right? Because sometimes we choose to, just because some of us may be in a relationship, some of us may be what I like to call healing. So not necessarily in a relationship, but not necessarily entertaining a situation either. And some of us is just outside. It just depends on like the different levels, right? But even with all those levels, there comes a certain kind of independence. And sometimes in those days that we choose to maybe isolate, or we may choose to do more observing than talking, we start to pay attention to certain things. I know that when I started to learn certain things, it made me not quieter, but maybe express myself in certain ways, kind of like this. That's why I love being here with you guys and really just kind of spreading this, because this is where I get it all out at, right? And this is just about not holding it in. And even with the obstacles that we face, sometimes we face them alone because we don't want nobody in our business, right? We don't want nobody having an opinion on how we deal with certain things because we don't want nobody to tell us we're wrong or whatever the case may be, right? But when we have that support, there is a difference on how a situation goes. And I know that from, like I say, both sides of the fence, right? And so there is no right or wrong answer to this. Y'all know inside the chest we get down to the emotions of it, to more than just a point towards an argument, but really just trying to get to a solution to a problem that maybe if we fix together, it'll help us out there during, I can't help but to rhyme. It's crazy. I'm about to say stormy weather. Like, what's wrong with me, guys? I'm a music head. This is R&B. It's all up and through me, right? But chessmates, I do want to take a break and ask this. When you deal with certain things, right? Do you find yourself dealing with things better when you're on your own, when it's just you, right? And when I say just you, it doesn't mean that nobody's around. It doesn't mean that you're not taking care of somebody or somebody's not taking care of you, but you just kind of holding in that issue, right? Is it best for you to do that, or is it best for you to share? And we may not like or care what comes out of the other person's mouth. We don't know. Or we may take it to heed and be like, yeah, we're going to do it. But there's power in taking care of it on your own. And I kind of feel that way too. So I'm kind of in all of these lanes. But guys, when we come back, we are definitely going to break down not only just the history in the choices that we make by being on our own, or choosing to be on our own, or being independent of things like that, right? And I know we're talking about Me, Myself, and I, but a song that rings in my head is another B classic. Come on, Beehive, tap in when they say, all the women who independent, throw your hands up at me. Y'all know the song, right? With that, when we come back, we're going to go into what that looks like now and what it looked like before, all of that. But I want y'all to tap into these music videos, to these commercials. Shout out to 290 Mo Podcast, the umbrella on which we sit, and which we're gonna make it rain like Cash Money back in the day, y'all. I'm telling my age this whole episode. Like, I went on this other podcast, they were asking me my age, right? I just think it's cool to have that mystic, like, oh yeah, I'm between 19 and 40. Why not? Right? I am that, right? Maybe. I don't know. I'm infinite, and we become infinite sitting here talking to each other, kind of taking back those layers, right? Y'all already know Earn It, Prove It, the singles that's out. Y'all know we got the music for you. We got the podcast for you. We got the interaction, and we'll be right back. Yo, what's up, y'all? It's Treasur Necole, your favorite Scorpio, and you are tuned into another episode of Inside the Chess Podcast. The videos that you guys are listening to, those are our music. That's what we're promoting. We're promoting our albums, we're promoting our shows, and everything that you see, from the guests to everything that's happening inside the chess, the BTS, and all of that. You have full access to that on all streaming platforms to watch, to listen, to repost, to share, whatever, however you want to take part in the community, alright? So you already know. Chessmates, I read your comments. The questions that I ask on episodes, I read your comments, and I definitely take that into consideration in what we talk about. But when we talk about me, myself, and I, y'all remember the R&B title from Queen Bee herself, right? When we first go into that, I think just because it's natural for me, I think about that in a music form, right? And I can say that in my personal experience, right, I feel like that I have went further independently as far as like growing and maturing, taking an independent route than I would the mechanical route, right? But we see more benefits and more rewards, obviously, in a quicker form, when we do take that route. So there's a cost to everything, whether it's you investing your time or your money. We know that even when we choose to be on our own and to say, hey, we're going to take the me, myself, and I route, that's when we really got to invest in ourselves, because we're not dependent on those other relationships maybe that we may have had. Because I look today and there's a glorification on women doing it on their own, women specifically doing it on their own. I feel I'm a different, I know we're all different, right? And chessmates, you could even tell me this in the comments as well. When it comes to being independent, I feel like you can be that and you can still have support around you, right? Independent is a mindset, rather than I'm independent because I pay 12 bills rather than 4 bills, or whatever the case may be. It really amounts in what it is that you invest in, and even when I talk about the music and then I go into the modeling and the media, which I want you guys to, I know you already have, depending on when this episode comes out, you either already voted, your vote was heard, the vote was in, whatever the case may be. We are up for all 3 of those kind of awards when we talk about the podcast, when we talk about modeling, when we talk about poetry and hosting and things like that. And all these things came from the independent journey, which goes back to me, myself, and I, right? I know when we think about the lyrics of the song, she says, me, myself, and I, that's all I got in the end. That's what I found out. And it ain't no need to cry. Took me a vow that from now on, I'ma be my own best friend. Me, myself, and I, that's all I got in the end. That's what I found out. And it ain't no need to cry. Took a vow that from now on, I'll be my own best friend. Y'all know that, R&B heads. Tap in. Y'all know the song. So when we talk about that, we're not necessarily cutting everybody off, cutting ties, doing those things, but we're taking the time to ourselves to know that we don't have to be tied to everything in every area of our life in order to be the success that we see for ourselves in our mindset, right? So when I talk about being independent, I know that even comes with more work. Because when we sit in and we watching these podcasts, guys, we looking at it as we're doing it in our downtime, right? But I know when I sit down and I tune into a podcast, I'm still learning. I'm still in that student mindset. And that's kind of like the direction I kind of want this to be in, right? And when we put more time in our work and just more time in stuff that necessarily may love us back, right? When we kind of go into like the relationship aspect. Because, again, in my journey, I'll say that everybody loves you. Like, love is a different definition to everybody. If I ask 100 people what love was, I probably get 100 different answers, right? So that's the same thing when it comes to being independent. Like, somebody can say, hey, I don't pay all of my bills, but I do this, or I do pay all of my bills, but I don't do this, or whatever the case may be. I feel like we may, in this time, may have kind of equated financially, but if we're talking about it in an emotional way, I think we kind of can break it down and really find comfort, maybe not in being alone, but just not being uncomfortable alone. So it's like a jigsaw puzzle here, y'all. So we making it. But I want to know, like, when it comes to our choice as far as relationships and being single, we know as artists, right? When we talk about artistry, we exposed to a lot of people. But I think whether you are artist or not, now in this age, you're exposed to everything just because of social media, period, right? And if I can see all these different options, or not even me, just in general, if a person can see all these different options and all these different things that they could have, they don't focus on what they do have, right? And I think that's just like the mind thing that goes into social media. I'm a post and ghost girl. I'll tell y'all that. I'm a post and ghost girl. But I know that I do find my moments where I'm scrolling and I'm falling like into that place where, you know, wait, I wasn't doubting myself before I got here. Why am I doubting myself now, right? So that's, I think, if somebody was to say, what makes this podcast different than the others? What made your podcast the podcast that they nominated for? It's because that we create a voice for the people. We create a voice for the people, the chessmates, the gems, and everybody who comes in, whether they're coming in based off the music or they coming in based off of the conversation. Either way, we know that y'all seen me. Y'all seen the journey. I go back and I look at my old interviews where I'm talking about being in a panel of different people, all the way to just being here, right? Or being with these guests that our energy has aligned. Every guest has been amazing. We've had poets, we've had different hosts. Y'all seen it? Y'all seen it? Y'all know coming up next week we're gonna have even more. This is the halftime of what I call the season 3, right? This is the halftime. And this is just me like tapping in, checking in. Y'all know how y'all pick up the phone, y'all call somebody, y'all say y'all good. That's what this episode is, right? Because this is how we started. And I think a lot of relationships, if they remember how they started, if they remember, oh, why did I choose to be in this relationship in the first place? So why am I choosing? I think then it's bound to last longer, right? Just in my personal opinion. I know we all got one, right? So with that, chessmates, I want to know, I know we all not artists, but we all are in some kind of industry, right? How are we normalizing that balance? How are we saying, hey, yeah, we're independent, but we're not alone? Because that's what, when I think of me, myself, and I, when I think of Beyonce and I think of who she is and why she sang the song the way, we know that a girl like her is not alone, right? When we say, oh, well, what's a girl like her? We're talking about just a A-list celebrity, right? Just in general from speaking. And then we talk about where we are kind of on planet Earth, right? Where we're kind of dealing with that, dealing with all those, what I talked about in earlier in season 2, when I talked about the human experience, right? When you guys go back and listen to that, it's just, how are we normalizing the balance in being okay with ourselves and loving ourselves so that we can love somebody else, so that it can turn from me, myself, and I to me and you, or whatever the case may be. Y'all know that Cassie joint. Just think about the song. Just think about the song. Me and you. That may be another title. That may be another title for season 4. We'll see. But of course, guys, because I don't want this to just be me talking, I want you guys to be able to interact with me after this last commercial break. We are going to play your favorite game, Trash or Treasure. We'll be right back.
Using that liquor for medication, sativa for meditation, didn't think I could be more patient. Put you on a pedestal, you ain't deserve to be taken. That role you constantly playing, that love you constantly faking. Said when you sober, it's hard to sit still, wait till we both get naked, it's gonna be hard to fight chills.
Right now.
Yo, what's up, y'all? We are back on Inside the Chest. Y'all already know we're gonna get right into it. We're gonna say less. We're gonna get right into it. Trash or Treasure. Y'all, I do get an added excitement when it comes to this game, right? Because it has turned into such a phenomenon, and I just feel like it is gonna be, like I told you guys in the beginning of the episode, we're gonna turn this into a complete game show. Next guest, season 4, we're gonna have that spotlight for you. We're gonna have those sounds, that energy that just brings the game to life. The way that we play it with our guests, the way that we play it with an audience live. You guys have literally seen it. I've been a part of it, and I soak it up every time, right? So, Trash or Treasure, guys. We are talking about Me, Myself, and I. The title is called Me, Myself, and I, right? The R&B classic. So I'm going to go a little bit into that. So Trash or Treasure, you guys, when it comes to solo outings. When I say that, I mean, are you going out by yourself? Are you seeing a situation on Eventbrite? Are you seeing a situation on social media and you like, yeah, I'm going to go out by myself and I'm going to meet who I need to meet tonight. Or I'm going to just feed into what I need to feed into tonight, just as far as energy or whatever, or good food or whatever the case may be. Are y'all trashing or y'all treasuring that? Because I know some of my people will say, shit, yeah, I go out by myself, I'll do my thing. But other people will be like, nah, I got to be with somebody, whether it's for security purposes or whether it's just because, just to have, just to feel like you kind of already can create that vibe instead of just depending on the situation. But I want to know, some people want to be by themselves because they want to control when they leave. So Trash or Treasure, y'all. It's no good or bad thing. Trash or Treasure. I want y'all to let me know in the comments what y'all think. Trash or Treasure. For the next thing, y'all, I want to know, because we are talking about Me, Myself, and I, the popular loner. Now, ladies, when you're dating somebody and they getting 400, 500 likes on their pictures. Guys, when you're dating somebody and they getting 2,000, 3,000 views on their story. You know what I'm saying? But they put up with you. They doing that. They doing that thing. You know what they doing. Other people may not, and they shooting their shot. They doing what they got to do, right? Are we trashing that? Are we treasuring that? Y'all know I had to have one for y'all. Are we trashing or treasuring that popular loner, whether we're dating them? Or whether, or they have that personality, or you know what I'm saying, like, or would you rather have somebody that I heard somebody say, I want a girl, I want a girl with no likes, no followers, under the radar, but fine as hell. I hear different things, right? So I want to know, chessmates, are we trashing? Are we treasuring that popular loner? You dating them? You messing with them? Or is that person you? Trash or treasure? And then I want to go to the last one, guys. The last one, you already know. R&B titles, Me, Myself, and I. So there's a difference. There's levels to this independent shit right here, right? Because then we talk about the lone wolf. Y'all seen Twilight? Twilight's one of my favorite movies. Listen, if you call yourself an artist and you're in the music, or you're into the visual, the videography of things, the Twilight series, that's your place, right? And when we talk about the lone wolf, guys, we talking about I don't know whose team y'all was on, the wolf or the vampire, right? But when we talk about the lone wolf, we talk about somebody that just is to themselves, maybe that antisocial person, right? And when we talk about the relationships and who we're dealing with, just in our friendships, it doesn't have to be a romantic situation. When we're dealing with somebody that's our friend, do they have to be our only friend? Or do we have to be their only friend? Like, how y'all feeling, trash or treasure, when it comes to that lone wolf? Are you befriending a person like that? Do you want somebody that, because that person can possibly become, it could become an upset situation, or it could become a good situation. Like we say, all of our journeys are different, especially when it comes to being independent. So trash or treasure when we talk about the lone wolf? You guys tell me right now. So hey, you guys just played trash or treasure. Y'all already know how we do it here. Y'all have so many different answers. It's so amazing to see you guys just hop in and dive in. I love this part of the show. This is my favorite part. You already know. Follow us at Inside the Chess Podcast so you can see the game. You can see us play live. You can see us play on our episodes. And in here, we just talking about the future of podcasting. We want podcasting to be more of like what I consider it to be a musical, vocal, mental therapy almost. Like just somewhere where you know how you feel when you turn on your favorite song. You know how you feel when you turn on your favorite show, or whatever the case may be, or however you feed into your soul. That's why I want Inside the Chess Podcast to be. And that's how we get into the spirituality and the emotion aspect of our show. We talk about us being on our own, doing our own thing. And then we talk about taking comfort in people being around us, being there to catch us when we fall, or being there to celebrate us when we call and say, hey, I got this good news, da da da. Some of us even hide our good news, right? I know sometimes we kind of get rid of those announcements, and we kind of just like, they gonna see it when it get here, because you want to take as much of that in as possible without different people inside the mix. So we understand this here, you know what I'm saying? And so we definitely get into it, and we are graduating out of the zodiac. When we talk about the spirituality, I know I always tell you guys it's Treasur Necole, your favorite Scorpio, and you guys have heard that on my previous shows, on my previous channels and things like that. But we're graduating spiritually when we talk about we are more than our zodiac. We are more than what our zodiac says, right? We are whatever purpose that we walking into, because all of it is different, right? So as you can see, the background is different. You guys, always had to bring that different aesthetic here, and still, you already know it's gonna always be your favorite Scorpio, right? We definitely attached to certain traits of all of which our signs are, right? But we graduating out of that. We want to see ourselves past our signs. We want to see ourselves past our situations or what was told to us, because when it's me, myself, and I, we got to be comfortable enough to not let that shit get to us, and let it strengthen us. So when we come out here and we with the people we love, we can affect each other all in a positive way. So y'all already know it's Inside the Chess Podcast. What can you look forward to? Listen, you guys can look forward to so much. Not only do we have Inside the Chess Podcast merch coming out, guys, we have different things. We have, like we say, we have us doing live shows, and we're being nominated for award shows, and as I manifest, or as I say this in prediction, and we winning award shows, right? And we just doing the damn thing. So y'all follow at Inside the Chess Podcast below, as well as my personal page at Treasur Necole, and we just gonna tap in real bad. And I appreciate y'all for coming in here today. Next week we're gonna finish out season 3 with some more of your favorite guests. I think y'all gonna like the rest. I know y'all like what we had in the beginning, but I think y'all definitely gonna like what we bringing in the end, and not even the end, just the start to a new beginning. So that's how we doing it Inside the Chess Podcast. I'll see y'all next time.